Jill and I have been friends for over 30 years. To everyone, she's Jill Martin, but to me, she's Jilly. Last year, I was heartbroken to watch my longtime friend tell the world that she was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Talk to your doctors and go get tested.
And I heard her message loud and clear. To support and honor Jill, I saw my doctor and asked her to test me for the BRCA gene. Although there is a history of breast cancer on my maternal side, my mother had tested negative for BRCA in the past, so I did not feel worried. Then, a few days passed and my doctor called me. I was positive for the BRCA gene from my father's side. I could not believe it. Weeks later, scans showed I did not have cancer. But I did not want to risk my chances. After consulting with my doctors, I made the difficult choice to undergo a double mastectomy and remove my ovaries. Going through surgery was a dark time for me, but Jill, even while going through her own ordeal, was always a bright light. If Jill never told her story, I never would have tested, and I truly believe that she saved not only my life, but possibly the lives of my daughters and generations to come.
And joining us now is Melissa, Jill, and Jill's surgeon, Dr. Elisa Port, Chief Breast Cancer Surgeon at Mount Sinai here in New York. Good morning, guys. So nice to have you here. I know you've been trying to hold it together, but this is emotional. You should feel these emotions because the impact you're having on so many, it's huge. And that's why you told your story. And Melissa, you know, for you, you were not diagnosed with cancer, but you had this gene, which you weren't expecting to have. How did you make that decision to take the next steps that you did?
So after hearing Jill's story, to honor her, I had to get tested. And although I knew my mother was BRCA negative, I learned from Jill that it could be on, you know, your father's side of the family. And I was shocked when I found out. I honestly couldn't believe it, but I was so grateful to Jill because without her, I never would have tested. And not only did she save my life, but she saved I have 2 teenage daughters. And although I've been told it's too early to test them now, knowledge is power, and we know the gene is in the family.
That's exactly right.
And when it's time, they'll test.
Can you put it in perspective really quickly? This wasn't planned, but I think people hear, okay, you have the BRCA gene. What makes you leap to then, okay, I'm going to take out all my parts, so to speak? What are the odds of getting cancer once you find out you have the gene?
I think you bring up a really important question is what does having the BRCA mutation mean? And it is associated with the highest possible risk of getting breast cancer that we can quantify. We estimate somewhere between 60 and 90%.
Oh, wow.
So it's very high.
So it's like a ticking, it's just...
And I also think what's important to know is while the majority of women who get breast cancer, Chanel, get it in their 60s and 70s, with the BRCA gene, you're much more likely to get that breast cancer at a younger age, before you would even be undergoing regular screening, 20s, 30s, 40s. So it's really important information whether one chooses to have the surgery preventively or even just to undergo the screening that Jill talks about. You know, we screen people much more aggressively if we find out they're BRCA positive.
I mean, to put it in perspective, 25 million people worldwide have this gene. Only 10% know. Wow. Women and men. And
is it hard to get tested for it? How do you get the genetic test?
I took a spit test in between Zoom calls.
Really? Thankfully, the bar for genetic testing in terms of insurance coverage, in terms of cost, has gotten so much lower. And so really pretty much anyone can get tested now. There are certain groups that really should be tested. All of the red flag situations related to family history of breast cancer, ovarian cancer, prostate, pancreatic. These are red flags. And also people of Jewish descent, Ashkenazi Jewish descent. And so we're now testing almost everyone who's diagnosed with breast cancer for the genetic mutation.
This is the best use of this platform possible, right? For people at home, just to hear this conversation, the impact it had on you, Melissa. You guys have been friends for decades. We won't say how many. We'll turn back the clock.
We played beer pong too, like.
Those are some fun old pictures from back in the day. But talk about the support system that Jill, Melissa, has been to you over the course of this last year.
I mean, I wouldn't have gotten through this without her. As soon as I found out I was positive, I called her and we started FaceTiming and texting all the time. And we actually had surgeries on the same day. And the morning before, we were on FaceTime for a while, like an hour. And I kept saying, what are you doing today? I was losing my mind. I was so worried. And Jill was calm and collective. Oh, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to have dinner. She just made me realize I could do this. And then we continued texting after the surgery and FaceTiming. And on the 4th day post-surgery, Jill called me and said, what are you doing? And as usual, 9 a.m. post-surgery, Jill, I'm laying in bed recovering, aren't you? And she said, nope, it's time to get up. She goes, it's time to seize the day.
Get up. So here's...
And that is just Jill's everything. Jill is a power.
You've got this point-to-point contact changing lives, and now you're taking the volume and you are turning it up, my friend, partnering with the WNBA and the NBA. And this is all to raise awareness about breast cancer. You've got this fabulous Sherpa on that everybody's going to be wearing. Are you joking?
So, you know, my Sherpa is my thing from my
thing.
But I designed this loungewear line while I was healing because, you know, my mind as an entrepreneur was going crazy in collaboration with the NBA and the WNBA.
Look at that. Well, some people would just take their chemo and sit still. You're like making deals.
A striking pink makeover. And really just using it as a canvas for awareness to encourage the conversations around testing and also around survivorship. You know, once you're done with the planned, whatever you go through, even without cancer, the emotional trauma is still there. And so I'm really using my platform.
How do we get it?
And
how do you get the Sherpa?
UpToday.com is listing it right now. It's on Fanatics. We're selling them out.
Yeah.
We're going to rock it. Men and
women, selling them out, and the proceeds, the NBA and the WNBA. Chloe is here, who gave me the ability to do that. We're turning it pink to raise awareness, and all the funds will go to Baxter Center.
Wow.
So and they're
Melissa,
so cozy.
Dr. Port.
I mean, so raising awareness, and it's your Sherpa.
My goodness. And again, to learn more about Jill's new collaboration, just scan the QR code on the bottom of your screen. All NBA and WNBA proceeds will be donated to the Baxter Center for BRCA. That's amazing. The first center solely devoted to the research, treatment, and prevention of BRCA-related cancers. We'll be right back.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.